So when you choose to start looking at life through your own eyes, through your own perception, through your own view of point, this you can guarantee you that you will start to see things very differently. Colors may be more vibrant. The people you're around may seem to be a little different. The environment you switch your paradigm to must be a paradigm that you have chosen. You couldn't possibly let someone else choose for you. Now, if that's the case, you better get a hold of me real damn quick, because I'll teach you how to get out of that. You have no business allowing someone else to guide your paradigm. If you don't like where you're at, switch it up. Switch lanes. Switch lanes. It's simple. So simple. Somebody asked me the other day, how do you look at life, Piff? You look at life half full, half empty. How do you look at it? Everybody's looking at life through this glass. And they're looking at it whether they got something in the glass, or they look at it like they have a little bit in the glass, but some of that glass is empty. First off, how big is this fucking glass that these fucks are looking at? Oh, it's half empty. My glass is half empty. Well, this guy over here is saying, oh, my glass is half full. I'll tell you this, factually, in my opinion. I look at life as if, in fact, how much more can I put into that glass? If, in fact, it's full to the brim, get me another fucking glass. Because it doesn't matter how big, small the glass is. If you got some living to do, live it up. Stop worrying about how empty your fucking glass is. It'll continue to stay empty. I'd offer up this. I would say stop falling for the norms. Stop falling prey to the norms of this thing we call society. Society's a fucking joke. It's a joke. It's 100% a trap for human. It's a trap. Think about it. The only reason why I ask you to think about it is because that's what I do. I want you to think for yourself. Because if you're letting someone else think for you, what the fuck are you doing? Taking the easy way out? Letting people point you in every fucking direction so you can be guided down a path of fucking consumerism, to be guided down a path of holidays, to be guided down a path of fucking routine, 365, 366 days a year. Shit, they may add 5 more days next year. They may take away time. They may add a day to the week. They may say now you got to work 6-7 days a week, but there's 9 days in the week. It's so silly. It's the silliest, man. Like a goose. It's so silly. The more we give up, the more they're going to take. And if you haven't figured that out by now, look at all the fucking shit that happens. You're telling me we can't go 1 year without something bad happening? It's a bunch of fucking bullshit. It's a goddamn television show that everybody sits around and watches, and they think they're a part of it because they get to vote. Fuck your vote. Fuck your ability to think that you know what the fuck you're doing when in fact the only thing you're doing is what they tell you to do on TV. How are you a free-thinking fucking human if you follow like a sheep? You follow like a lemming. You follow like a shadow. Break away from being a goddamn fucking shadow. Even Peter Pan was able to do that shit. You can't break away from your own fucking shadow. You can't break away from being a shadow to be you. All you got to do is ask yourself a couple of questions. How to do you? How to become you truly? And what must you do? You ask yourself these 3 questions on a daily basis. I'll tell you fucking right now, you'll start creating and stop doing for someone else. And also, here's, to top it all off, get rid of all the motherfucking distractions in your life. And if you need a fucking detailed list of what a distraction is, look at every fucking thing around you that doesn't have your name on it, that doesn't say you on it, that doesn't say Epiphany Chris, it doesn't say whatever your name is. First, middle, last, however you do it. You got one name, you got just a middle name. Don't matter. If what you look at around you isn't you, and it's not something you've done, if you're not looking at, so people have Picassos hanging on their wall and they're so proud of this Picasso. How can you be proud of work of another? How can you be like, oh man, I'm so proud of the Picasso I got. Look at this Picasso painting I got hanging on my wall. Paid $350 million for it. But did you do it? Everybody's watching football. Monday night, Thursday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, fuck, even Wednesday night now, right? But how many of you out there watching football can do it? You watch it, you criticize football, you say, oh, he sucks, he shouldn't be playing. But how many of you watching the game can jump on that field and do what they do? Fucking 80% of you are all overweight anyway. You get it? What is it that you can look at right now? Just say in the vicinity of the space that you're in, wherever you are at right now, what are you looking at around you that you did? And now the only reason why I say did is because that means you must have done something. And then in order to have done something, you must do. So ask yourself, who are you? Listen, distractions are all around us. I had to take a moment to calm down there. I know for a fact that I was about to get really out of control there. I get so hyped up about these topics. These topics that, just randomly come out of nowhere are based on probably some sort of inner thing going on with me. However, you must know that this is not for you. It's for you. And the beginning and end of however any of this happens only happens because this you chose to do something with a tiny bit of planning. And it's up to you to do for you. And I know some people and a lot of people probably have missed this boat where they're no longer doing for themselves. They're actually stuck doing for they or them. They're stuck on the other side of the fence where the grass they thought was greener on the other side is actually nothing but a bunch of thistle and sucks. Thistle looks pretty from a distance. Thistle looks great from a distance, especially if it's got a little dew on it, maybe a little frost. Looks great. But the second you get over there, it tells you immediately to get the fuck out. But you're trapped. You're on the other side now. And over here, the grass is screaming, hey, it's greener over here. The grass is always greener where you left. So why leave? I'll tell you why people leave the side that is the best or not the best, but it's the side for them. It's the side that they should be on. And to be on a side, again, you should be picking a side for kickball, for soccer. There's no sides. But when you choose to do for another, you're distracted from the ability to do for you. So let's just break down some of these distractions, shall we? Number one, obviously, is television. It's television. All you're doing is watching what somebody's done in the past, when you could be doing something in the present. Your cell phone. All these apps. There's tons of them. I mean, obviously, there's an app for everything. How come they haven't created an app for nothing, though? If nothing exists, who's going to create the app for nothing? Nobody steal my idea. I'm going to patent it. I'm going to be the first app for nothing. Giving people the ability to do for you. Hey, now. They'd probably sell 10,000, Probably get 10,000 downloads. Fuck, you're a millionaire after that. But it's the app for nothing? Probably is, huh? Every one of them is an app for nothing, technically, even though they say they're for something. They are for nothing. They will get you nowhere. You will not have the ability to grow and do if you are distracted by apps and TV. What about work? What if you get so indulged in your work that you lose track of who you are? Work could be a distraction too. You dive too deep in, and then you're trapped. Now you're a slave to work. And then think about this. There's a human who's in charge of what it is you do for work. So silly. It's a distraction. If you can look around and you could say, that's not a distraction, I'm fine with it. I challenge you to look on your phone, because it's I've heard this is a thing and people do it, but I challenge you, in an instance, you can check your phone right now and see how much screen time you've spent. See how much of the time that you have to look out with your eyes at things you're capable of doing. Even like a beautiful scenery, you could probably look at that. But let me challenge all of you. Take your phone out and then look up how much screen time you've used that day. Just for the day. I mean, it'd be a great challenge if you went back 30 days. But if you just look at today, look how much time you spent staring at your fucking screen today. Put it in the comments below if you're not ashamed of how much screen time you have. Do it. I want to know. But remember, last time we were here, I don't really recall how long ago it was, because time, in a moment, in an instance, comes and goes. So really, it doesn't matter. But last time we had asked this question. Who is the decider of meaning? Who is the decider of meaning? What did you think? I could tell you what I thought. And that's technically what this podcast is. You got Epiphany Chris giving you nothing but facts in his opinion. And I can boldly say this. These are facts in my opinion. And I've literally figured out who the decider of meaning is. You may think it'd be Webster, right? You're probably thinking Webster. Maybe, right? You're probably thinking some college professor. You're probably thinking some English major, right? You're probably thinking somebody who's, pretty smart. Probably the smartest person of all time, if in fact they're the decider of meaning. Let me burst your bubble real quick. I'm just going to do it real quick, because around here we don't like that slow, painful. We like to get shit over real quick. We bring it to a boil. Done. Take the dross out. There it is. How could you possibly be a decider of meaning if in fact meaning didn't have meaning? What word came first? Word or word? Seriously. What'd you think? Who is the decider of meaning? Now you must take some time. I mean, seriously, we all literally have the abundance of it. Now you may think of time as in seconds, milliseconds, like that. If you don't think of time like the way you're taught to think of time, it's crazy that 60 seconds equals 1 minute. Why? Seems like a manipulation of time. I don't know. Time to me is just... it's nothing. So much of nothing that you have so much of it that you could do whatever you want with it. And some people choose to do nothing with it. So who is the decider of meaning behind all these words that we use, misuse, repeat, redo, rename? What is it? What's up with these words? What's up with all these words? There's so many of them, right? Who's the decider of the meaning of the word? Can I tell you what I know? You are the decider of meaning. You must be. How do you know, Epiphany Chris? What kind of insight do you have? Well, The question itself simply asks, who is the decider of meaning? Now, you could say the meaning of words, you could say the meaning of life, you could say the meaning of a million other things. But the end result, the final decision, would be up to you on what this means or that means. You must be able to decide the meaning behind everything and nothing to be you. Because if you accept a meaning that was not described by you as fact, well, that's just you being part of they, them. There are so many words out there that have so many meaning. It's not just even one word meaning, so we all must be deciders of meaning. I challenge you to think deeply into what meaning you put forth. What is it that you're putting forth, and what meaning would you think that someone else would see? Although it doesn't matter, think about how it would be. If you wanted to put meaning into this world, what is it that you do? Without meaning, what is it? What is it? Have you decided to choose your own path that you're on? Are you on a path, or are you on a trolley with a bunch of others? It's so easily that we can be swept up into this shit. It's just so easy. But if you truly think of the word meaning, and then who is the decider of it, hopefully you can come to the same conclusion as me, that you're technically the decider of meaning. You must be. Who else is going to decide for you? At some point in time today, we will have another Here's Something to Think About segment. And on the next, Here's Something to Think About. Think about this. Perpetual motion through space. Perpetual motion through space. So not too long ago, an episode came out on the TrapHouse podcast called New Features. And although it was one of the finer of episodes, so elegantly done, the enunciation in every word was spot on. In this New Features episode, it's crazy to think about, but it was an episode for sure. But what was discussed was new features. Because there could be no way that you can redo. You can never redo. You can only make new. Now let's think about that for just 1 second. There are times in life when you set up, you have a plan, right? You have a plan, right? You set up a plan, you have a plan, you have this idea, that you write it down. Maybe you write it down a bunch of times. And you come up with maybe multiple plans, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 100 plans. Thomas Edison came up with 10,000 plans. Could you imagine coming up with 10,000 plans? But every time you have a plan, maybe that plan fails. Maybe it falls through. Do you still do that same plan again? Do you go at the same situation the same way and fail again? Or do you come up with a new plan? Even if you tweak it just a little bit, it's still a new plan, right? So let's look at it in the life perspective, like life in general. So today is today, right? Right. Yesterday was today. But now it's not. It's not yesterday, it's just not today. And then tomorrow, well, who decides what tomorrow is? Because tomorrow, nobody's ever even experienced tomorrow. I know for a fact, in my opinion, everyone listening or in the world or living or breathing has experienced today. Definitely not tomorrow and definitely not yesterday. Definitely today. So everything that you've done, right? You've done. It's out of the way. You already did it. So what is it you do to make new? It's not like every morning you wake up and be like, man, what can I redo today? What can I do over? But do it the same way so I can do it over again. That does not make sense to me. So to do, you must make new. And to claim you redo? Nah. Not true. Only thing you can do is make new, so why not make it new? They're tricking you every day, every year. They're tricking you every time we turn around. Every time you turn around, there's a distraction to trick you into something new. If you think about it, they're just redoing all the shit that you already are a part of. Nothing new about it. There ain't nothing new about what they're tricking you into doing. That's what a distraction is. It distracts you from creating. If in fact you are not creating, what is it you are doing? Sounds like a redo. And you don't need to redo. You just and can only make new. I encourage you to choose to make new. Create something. Do something spectacular. It's a pretty cool word. Spectacular. Someone defined it, someone wrote it down, and someone believed in it. Shit, they got a word in the dictionary because of it. So create, fail, create. Just keep creating. It doesn't matter how many times you fail, because if you choose to fail, you no longer create. Failure comes with the territory. Accept it, move on, create. Keep creating. Shit, you may create something new nobody's ever seen before. Who knows who you can be? But as long as you're choosing to be you, what else are you going to do? So the word. It brings us to our segment, The Word. Everybody, look at this is one of the most exciting parts of the podcast. For this guy anyway. Epiphany Chris is coming at you with the word. Not the word of the day, not the word of the week. Just the word. And the word today is proceed. Precede. Definition as follows. Defined by some other you. To go before in place, time, rank, or importance. What a great word. What a great frickin' word. To go before. To go before. I must thank you all for taking a brief moment of time to listen. Remember, and you must remember or you will claim you have forgotten, these are all facts, in my opinion. Now please, be the creative you know you are. See ya.